Most people live their lives serving everyone else, family, friends, work, obligations, while barely leaving time for themselves. They tell themselves they'll prioritize their own growth one day when things settle down, but that day never comes. And slowly they fade into the background of their own existence, exhausted, unfulfilled, and wondering why no one values them as much as they wish they would. The brutal truth is this: if you do not make yourself your first priority, no one else will. No one is coming to rescue you. No one is going to wake up and suddenly decide that your needs matter more than their own. That responsibility is entirely on you. And if you refuse to claim it, life will make that decision for you. But prioritizing yourself doesn't mean neglecting others. It means becoming the best version of yourself so that you actually have something valuable to give. If you are weak, exhausted, and resentful because you always put yourself last, what kind of impact can you truly have? What kind of life is that? If you don't take care of your health, your mind, your goals, what are you really offering to the world? Nothing but a broken, depleted version of yourself. That is not noble. That is not selfless. That is self-destruction. No one is coming to save you. No one is responsible for your success, your happiness, or your well-being except you. That may sound harsh, but it's one of the most liberating truths you will ever accept. The moment you take full ownership of your life is the moment everything changes, because as long as you believe that someone else is responsible for how you feel, how you live, or what you achieve, you will always be at the mercy of circumstances beyond your control. And that is a dangerous place to be. Too many people live their lives waiting. They wait for the right opportunity, the right relationship, the right time. They wait for someone to recognize their worth, to lift them up, to give them permission to chase their dreams. But waiting is an illusion. There is no perfect moment. No one is going to suddenly hand you the life you want. If you want something to change, you must take responsibility for making it happen. That means being honest with yourself. That means facing the uncomfortable truth that wherever you are right now, good or bad, is, in many ways, a result of the choices you have made. And if you don't like where you are, the power to change it is in your hands. But responsibility is not just about action. It's about mindset. It's about refusing to play the victim. Life is not fair. You will face struggles. You will encounter obstacles that seem impossible, but you have two choices. Let those struggles define you, or take control in spite of them. The strongest people, the most successful people, the ones who truly create the life they want, they are not the ones who had it easy. They are the ones who took what life gave them and made something out of it. They refuse to be broken by their circumstances. And here's the truth. No one can do this for you. You can have support, you can have encouragement, but at the end of the day, the responsibility is yours. No one else can force you to take care of your health. No one else can make you chase your goals. No one else can give you self-discipline, self-respect, or self-worth. That is something you must cultivate within yourself. And that's the good news. Because if you are responsible for your own well-being, then you are in control. You don't have to wait for permission. You don't have to wait for luck. You can decide right now to become the kind of person who takes charge of their life, to wake up with purpose, to prioritize your mental, physical, and emotional health, to stop making excuses and start making progress. It won't be easy. It won't be comfortable, but it will be worth it. Because when you finally take responsibility for your own well-being, everything else follows. Your confidence grows. Your resilience strengthens, your opportunities expand, and most importantly, you begin to build a life that is truly yours. Not one shaped by circumstance, not one dictated by others, but one that reflects your strength, your values, and your potential. If you don't keep your promises to yourself, why should anyone else respect you? Self-respect isn't something you're given, it's something you earn. And the only way to earn it is through self-commitment. And the way you treat yourself, the way you honor your own word, the way you show up for your own life, that is what determines your self-worth. It is not about what others think of you, it is about what you think of you. Most people struggle with confidence, not because they lack talent or potential, but because deep down they don't trust themselves. They say they'll wake up early, but they hit snooze. They say they'll take care of their health, but they keep making excuses. They say they'll work toward their goals, but they let distractions pull them away. Every time you break a commitment to yourself, you are sending a message to your own mind. My word doesn't matter. And when that belief takes root, self-respect crumbles. But the opposite is also true. Every time you follow through, every time you discipline yourself, every time you prove to yourself that you can be relied upon, you build an unshakable foundation of self-respect. It doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen through empty motivation. It happens through action, through repetition, through small, consistent victories that reinforce the truth that you are someone who honors their own word. And that is where real confidence comes from. Not from external validation, not from hoping others will see your worth, but from knowing deep in your core that you are a person who follows through, that you don't betray yourself, that when you say you're going to do something, you do it. Not because someone is watching, not because you'll be rewarded, but because that is who you are. Self-control means doing the hard things even when no one is holding you accountable. It means setting boundaries and sticking to them. It means prioritizing your well-being, your goals, and your standards, not out of selfishness, but out of respect for yourself. And when you do that, something incredible happens. The world starts to respect you too. People see how you carry yourself, how you hold yourself to a higher standard, and they respond to it. Because the way you treat yourself teaches others how to treat you. But none of this works if you don't start with you. If you don't commit to your own growth, no one else will do it for you. If you don't believe in your own potential enough to put in the effort, no one else's belief will matter. Your self-respect is in your hands. And the moment you take responsibility for it, the moment you decide that your word matters, that your actions align with your values, you will begin to see the power that self-commitment brings. You will move differently, speak differently, live differently, and most importantly, you will respect yourself. And that is the foundation of everything. The world does not change because you wish it would. It changes because you become the person capable of making that change. Every time you improve yourself, every time you grow stronger, every time you push past your limitations, you are creating a ripple effect that impacts everything around you. When you strengthen your mind, your body, and your character, you are not just improving your own life, you are improving the world. Too often, people look outside themselves for solutions. They wait for others to fix things, to make things right, to change the conditions they live under. But the most powerful change begins within. You have the ability to shape your own life, and by doing so, you influence the lives of those around you. It is the people who rise above mediocrity, who refuse to settle for less than their best, who create the conditions for growth and progress, not just for themselves, but for everyone they encounter. When you develop strength, discipline, and resilience, you stop being a passive participant in life. You stop being at the mercy of your circumstances. Instead, you become an active force, one that lifts others, inspires those around you, and leads by example. Your actions, your mindset, your very presence radiates energy that influences your family, your colleagues, and your community. Every time you make the decision to be better, to work harder, to be kinder, to push further, you are contributing to a better world. But this is not just about achieving personal success. It's about recognizing that your growth is part of a larger picture. The stronger you become, the more you are able to help those around you. You cannot give what you do not have. If you are weak, emotionally, mentally, physically, what can you offer to others? If you are constantly drained, frustrated, and overwhelmed, how can you be a source of positivity, support, or inspiration? The only way to positively impact the world is to first focus on making yourself strong, capable, and resilient. This isn't selfish, it's necessary. A better world starts with better people, and a better person is someone who takes responsibility for their own growth. It's someone who pushes through pain, who builds good habits, who focuses on self-improvement, who refuses to be a victim of circumstances. When you become that person, you elevate not just your own life, but you elevate the lives of everyone around you. The world becomes better because you are better, and that process starts every single day with a simple choice: to choose strength, to choose growth, to choose becoming the best version of yourself. If you want to achieve anything of value in this world, you must be willing to make sacrifices. There is no success without a price, no progress without the willingness to give something up in order to gain something greater. People who have achieved greatness, whether in their careers, their relationships, or their personal lives, have all made hard choices. They have let go of distractions, temporary pleasures, and even certain comforts to focus on what truly matters. But it's not just about sacrifice, it's about understanding why and what you're sacrificing for. Without clear boundaries, without knowing what's worth sacrificing for, you will be pulled in every direction, drained of energy, and left with nothing to show for your efforts. Boundaries are not a luxury. They are essential for your survival and success. They protect your time, your energy, and your focus. Without them, the world will consume you. Every person, every task, every demand will try to take more of you than you have to give. And when you don't set boundaries, when you say yes to everything and everyone, you end up saying no to yourself. You sacrifice your health, your dreams, and your future without even realizing it. Setting boundaries is not about being selfish, it's about self-preservation. It's about respecting your own needs and acknowledging that you cannot give from an empty cup. If you constantly say yes to things that drain you, you have nothing left to offer the things that matter most. Your time is your most valuable resource, and if you don't protect it, others will take it from you. Sacrifice requires discipline. It means saying no to short-term gratification in order to achieve long-term success. It means putting in the work even when it's hard, even when it's uncomfortable. But this discipline doesn't just shape your future, it defines who you are. Every time you say no to something that doesn't serve your highest purpose, you reinforce the identity of someone who is committed to growth. And every time you set a boundary to protect your energy, you reinforce the value you place on your well-being. The truth is, if you don't create boundaries, the world will create them for you. But the boundaries the world imposes are often not the ones you want. They come in the form of burnout, resentment, missed opportunities, and regrets. Boundaries, when chosen consciously, are empowering. They allow you to focus on what truly matters: your health, your goals, and your relationships. And the sacrifices you make to protect those boundaries are investments in the future you deserve. Sacrifice and boundaries are not about deprivation. They are about freedom. Freedom to be the person you want to become. Freedom to achieve the things you desire, and freedom to live a life aligned with your values. When you make the tough decisions to protect yourself, when you sacrifice what is not serving you, you open the door to everything that is meant for you. You cannot control the world. You cannot control other people's actions, their opinions, or their decisions. You cannot control the way life unfolds, the obstacles that appear, or the challenges you will inevitably face. But there is one thing you have complete control over: your own life, your thoughts, your actions, your responses, and your choices. These are the only things in the world you can fully control. And when you understand this truth, you unlock the greatest power you possess: the power to create your own reality. For many people, the idea of control feels like a distant dream. They feel as though they are tossed around by external circumstances, unable to shape their own fate. They blame their struggles on others, on luck, or on things beyond their control. But what they fail to realize is that the true power comes from within. The only way to break free from the cycle of blame and frustration is to accept that your life is your responsibility. If you want change, you must be the one to initiate it. This doesn't mean that life will be easy or that everything will always go your way. It means that you stop waiting for someone else to fix things for you. You stop waiting for life to hand you an opportunity. You stop blaming others for where you are and take full ownership of your circumstances. And with that ownership comes the realization that every single day you get to choose how you respond. You can choose to grow through adversity. You can choose to rise above your fears. You can choose to embrace discipline, to pursue your goals relentlessly, to cultivate habits that will lead you to success. Even in the face of difficulty, you have the power to decide how you will face it. And in those moments of choice, you define who you are. When you stop giving away your power, when you stop letting life happen to you, when you realize that the only life you can control is your own, everything changes. You begin to see that every choice you make shapes your future. The more disciplined you become, the more focused you are, the more aligned your actions are with your values, the more you gain control over the direction of your life. The world may be unpredictable, and other people may be unpredictable, but you are the constant in your life. You are the one who can choose to grow, to take responsibility, and to make decisions that will move you forward. Every day, you get the chance to start again. Every day, you have the power to steer your life in the direction you want. And when you realize that your life is yours to control, you begin to build a future that is truly yours. But prioritizing yourself requires more than just words. It demands action. It requires setting boundaries and saying no to things that drain you. It requires sacrifice, letting go of meaningless distractions, of people who do not respect your time, of obligations that pull you away from your goals. And most of all, it requires discipline. It is not enough to want a better life. You must act in alignment with that desire every single day. So ask yourself, do you respect yourself enough to make yourself a priority? Do you have the courage to put yourself first, not out of selfishness, but out of necessity? Because the alternative is a life where you are always second, third, or last, and that is a life wasted. Decide today. Choose yourself. Not at the expense of others, but for the sake of your own existence. Because the moment you start treating yourself like you matter, the world will follow.